The start of every new stock car season takes drivers to one place, hallowed ground for oval racing in North America. A track so rich in history, its story is best told by observation. Look around at the walls coated in layers of white paint. Asphalt feet deep with each generational change recorded as a strip of pavement. Name the races that every racing driver wants to win, and this track will come up in the conversation every single time. Tonight, the Three-Wide Racing League returns to SimTV with its Grand National Division, taking Generation 4 stock cars back out on track for a full season of action. And they'll start at the only place worth starting, the World Center of Racing. Welcome to Daytona International Speedway. My name is Kyle Hyder, joined tonight by Finian DeCuna. Finian, Three-Wide Racing League returns, and it's time to bring it on tonight from Daytona.
And you are back here at the banks of Daytona for the final time. What should be the final time in quite a while. I think this is probably the 7th or 8th race we've done here over the last month or so. So definitely seen a lot of racing and a lot of fantastic finishes too. So really looking forward to see what these guys can bring tonight in the K&N machinery.
So the national car, the big discussion about this the last time they drove this was on the new tire model. Well, that's changed quite a bit because it's been on it for almost a full build now. So it's had some time for drivers to get used to it. I don't think that we've really had a good chance to look at these cars racing on a big oval yet. So what are we expecting tonight in terms of the drafting around here?
I think we're going to see it be pretty well. These things have an amazing draft package to work with. Probably, I would say, the best out of all the stock cars. So I think we're going for a really good treat here tonight at the banks of Daytona.
Take a look at Daytona International Speedway because it's 2.5 miles long. It's got 31 degrees of banking, Finian, but this place, we always talk about it not being treacherous so much in the corners, but on the back straightaway and the tri-oval. It seems like all the crashes here happen on the straightaways.
Yeah, definitely indeed so. But I think we might see a little bit a decrease in that tonight. The ability for these guys to suck up on one another is amazing. I would argue almost better than the current Cup package. That thing really sucks up well. So I think we'll see a little bit less chaos because these guys can move around quite a bit, work with each other a lot. So there's not as much haste as we see in some other series.
So the other big discussion is how long it is between turn 4 and that start-finish line. Are you going to wait to the last lap, the last corner to make your move? Or are you going to have to do it sooner than that? It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
This is definitely one of the situations where it's definitely going to come down to the last lap, if anything, the last corner as well. Or maybe at least the last series of corners to build up runs. So definitely, I think it's going to be a fun race, especially too. Some great paint schemes also on the grid tonight to see the 00 of Corey Lindsay.
So qualifying is underway. You can see Nick Delicato up on the top of the board at a 48.460. Matt Hackathorn goes second quick. He's 7/10ths back. No, correction, 9 thousandths back. Timing and scoring has a mistake there, but a couple other cars on track. Josh Clark, some new drivers to the series, and again, this is a brand new structure for Three-Wide Racing League this season. 2 mini seasons instead of 1 year-long season, and we're of course changing from the Cup car to the National car this year. So a lot of drivers don't have as much experience in this car as they did the Cup cars from seasons past. A lot of new drivers to the series. Josh Clark, one of them, in his number 28.
And you see the 28 in a Pontiac Grand Prix. One of the few, I really enjoy the fact that they made a template layer for these guys for the old manufacturers, Pontiac Grand Prix, Chevrolet Monte Carlo, also Dodge. Nice to see them back on the grid with some of the paints. Can you see Josh Clark below the double yellow line as he comes across the line?
So he'll jump his way up to 10th on the grid. Justin Kolb in the 52. He was inches away from winning the Cup Series last year at Homestead. Ultimately did not win. He was very close to it. We'll see what he can do in the National car this season. His qualifying effort will put him 10th quick and bump Clark down to 11th. About half the field, or about 30 cars strong tonight, half the field has not qualified. So only back to 16th, Jess Story in the number 7. He's the last driver to put a time down. He jumps to 9th as he comes on through the start-finish line.
Yeah, not surprised there. We've seen time and time again, especially at the plate tracks. A lot of guys, half the field typically likes to qualify, get themselves to the front. The other half likes to find themselves more towards the back.
Carlos Acosta in the number 2, and one of those really good paint schemes you were talking about. He's got the Monte Carlo SS on the nose of that car. His qualifying is complete. Acosta will start 7th tonight. We'll head now to start this race. We'll take a look at our race rundown this evening. 80 laps, 198.3 miles. Strategy, talk to me. Friends, foes, teammates, how are you going to make your effort up to the front tonight?
Honestly, I really don't think, I would say probably for these guys, you really don't entirely need friends. I think really, if anything, you just need to get somewhat of a draft off of them. You can be very independent in these cars, which is, again, the opposite of what we see in the modern 3 National Series for NASCAR is that you really do need another person. These guys, you can be a little bit more by yourself. Granted, you are going to probably need someone to push or get a draft off of towards the end of the race. So I would say at the very least have one friend out there.
So we mentioned 30 cars strong. What's the drafting going to look like? Are we going to see a lot of single file, big runs, kind of slingshots, or do you think it'll kind of double up and run 2x2?
I think it'll definitely double up, run 2x2. It's just so easy to do. I'll be surprised if we do get single file. We might see single file action maybe towards the middle of the race. Maybe a little bit in the middle of green flag pit stops. You can see you go single file, but I think these guys can very much do double file, and I imagine we're definitely going to see that.
Let's take a look at our starting lineup tonight on the front row. It's going to be Gerald Campbell in the number 31. He stole pole away at the last possible moment. Nick Indelicato in the number 51 rolls off in second place in his Toyota Camry that he's got on the nose of that car.
Yeah, that was the Toyota Camry we were looking for earlier. We got Matt Hackathorn in the 84, going to be starting in the inside lane in third, next to Kevin Finn in the 14, going to be starting in fourth.
In fifth place, Chad Frankenfield in the number 15. He has been a championship competitor before, no different tonight. Tanner Sharp on the outside. He'll roll off sixth in his number 3.
And moving on back another row in seventh, we find Carlos Acosta in the 2 car in the inside lane. Next to him in eighth, Drew Eisenman in the 77.
In ninth place tonight, Jess Story, new driver to the league. He'll get his first appearance in 3 wide. Action tonight from ninth. Ron Hagelin in the number 11 rolls off in 10th.
And moving back to 11th, we got Justin Cobe in the 52, going to be starting the inside next to Josh Clark in the outside lane, and the 28 car in 12th.
In row number 7, starting in 13th on the inside, Michael Goodman in his Pinecone Cabin number 44. Then it's Frank Sims making a return to 3 wide action in the number 75 and 14th.
And in 15th, you got Corey Lindsay in the 00 car, who's going to be starting next to Justin Dewar in the 32 in 16th.
In 17th, Matt Gruenberg, past champion of the series. He'll roll off 17th in his number 54. Justin Gable in 18th in his number 13 car.
And then back in 19th, we got Justin McEvoy in the 21 car, and next to him, rounding out your top 20, is Levi Zielinski in the 97. We'll let the rest of the grid roll across the bottom as you look to our track conditions on the right side of the screen. Very cool tonight. Air temp 67 degrees, while the track's 70, so almost as cool as you can get it. Track's going to be nice and grippy.
It's a beautiful evening here in Daytona Beach, Florida, as we take a look at our field one last time before we go racing tonight. How about that sky? Tonight we've got 80 laps. It'll take us about an hour if we go green from start to finish. I'm not convinced that we'll be able to do that as the field rolls out of turn number 4. The pace car going to peel off. 30 cars lined up for the start of a several month-long season of the 3 Wide Racing League Grand National Division. Pace car peels off. It's time to go racing from Daytona. Green flag flies, and we're racing the start of a new season in 3 Wide Racing action. Onto the back straightaway, car pulling off to the inside. That is the number 84 of Hackathorn on the apron. Can't advance your position down there, but he's going to give up some spots, and he'll drop back in line behind Corey Lindsay in the 00. Nick Indelicato takes the lead away for a moment, but Gerald Campbell fighting back hard on the bottom.
Yeah, and I think Hackathorn didn't fancy being up here in the front. I think he's going to have to be more towards the back, at least for the first half of this race. But for lap 1, it's to be Gerald Campbell that will lead the first lap.
Drivers trying to slot themselves in the line and maybe get some single file just to try to get some laps under your belt here. You don't want to get yourself in trouble this early in the race. And another consideration for next week on is the new damage model will be on this car from the next race on. We do not have that tonight, but drivers can't drive recklessly this season. They're going to have to be careful with their equipment. And tonight, especially with the aero damage, if you knock the nose in, you're going to have a very bad time. On the back straightaway, the outside lane, the 14 of Kevin Finn, the 77 of Eisenman, and the 75 of Sims lining up. We'll see if they can move forward.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate we're not going to get the new damage model for tonight because the Rex looks spectacular. But obviously, definitely have the chance for that next race at Auto Club.
Across the start-finish line, the 15 of Chad Frankfield's put himself in second place, and Delicato in third in the number 51. And Frankfield's going to go up the racetrack in front of Justin Kolb's number 52. That's the Nintendo car, the bright red one on the top line. And now the outside lane building momentum here, and they're moving forward.
Yeah, it's Kolb and then Tanner Sharp there as well.
There's kind of a second group forming towards the back. Just trying to stay out of trouble and avoid the big one, because we will have one. It's just a matter of time.
They lost quite a bit of time. In fact, that 17th on back with Nick Miller leading that second pack for 4 seconds.
Here's the lead pack. And you mentioned about 4 seconds back. There's the next pack. Side by side, 4 rows deep at the front of the field. And Frankenfield will lead by a nose at the line. Complete lap number 3. He'll lead his first lap of the night. 3 of Tanner Sharp riding in the outside lane as well. We'll ride on board.
And he's just kind of sitting, biding his time here. He's in no particular rush to get to the front. Curious if Cobe and Frankenfield could win. That's typically the better lane for these K&N cars. You can see it start to prevail. Frankenfield clear of both lanes is going to drop to the bottom.
Drops right down in front of Gerald Campbell, slides up the racetrack. Maybe a little bit of contact between him and the 52, but they've gotten it sorted back out as they round turn number 4. And pretty aggressive move to slide down that soon this early in the race, but Frankfield seemed like he was content with that and gets the lead away. Here comes Cole to the outside now.
Yeah, he's got some clean air now. Tanner Sharp, we'll see if he can move to the front as a cut down from the 11 of Nick Indelicato.
That was the 11 of Hagelin.
Hagelin,
Indelicato was the car in front of him, the black car. And 5 laps into this 80-lap event, and already clean and green so far. And a large gap back to that second group. How much of a gap do you think they should be leaving? I would assume probably less than that.
Not this much. If anything, maybe 2-3 seconds tops. Anything more than that, you're really putting yourself at a risk. And they're also not going in the right direction. Last lap for that last pack was 46 seconds. The leaders, meanwhile, doing just under 45.
Yeah, so you have to wonder if this race goes green from start to finish. Are they putting themselves in a bad situation? They've single-filed themselves out. The leaders are running side by side. They're still not making time. So I'm a bit concerned about their longevity back there, how long they'll be able to stay back there before and they have to move back forward. Campbell to the outside with a run from the 52 pushing him. And now the 13 of Justin Gable has crept into the shot. That's that black and white Dodge on the top line out of turn 2.
See if Campbell was able to take away the lead from Frankenfield. Indeed, with Cole being very aggressive on the back bumper. I think he's trying to clear himself, but can't get clear of Frankenfield. He's going to have to let the 31 go, and the 31 dives on down.
So Cole trying to pull the same strategy that the 15 did, but he wasn't able to get clear. And he'll have to settle for second, but here comes a push from the 3 of Tanner Sharp across the line. Drag race for that lap left. Campbell will lead it, but Cole's got a big run. He might be able to take that all the way to the front here.
Yeah, we'll see here if they can get a good enough run off of turn 2. I think they have enough to really make a run on that outside lane for the lead, at least for Coe.
Sun is going down. The intensity is heating up here at Daytona. The first race of the season. You want to be the one that comes home with a checkered flag tonight. They will not remember you if you finish second. And especially for the drivers that are new to the series, making a splash with a victory is one heck of a way to start the season.
It really is, and this is honestly one of your best opportunities this season to get a win. Always the grand equalizer of these plate tracks.
And Campbell clear again for the lead. And not willing to abandon that bottom lane, but Frankfield looked like he wanted to try to sneak up underneath the 31, and the gap opens. He's going to dive underneath, and Campbell's going to get sucker holed here in a minute. There he goes.
Yeah, you can't leave that lane open, and Frankfield actually wasn't able to get a good enough of a run, so Campbell's going to get back ahead of him. Meanwhile, on the outside, that gave them some time to rebound. And here they come with a strong run off the corner. Sharp's going to push Cobe up to the lead.
Now look at the difference in speed. That's about 5 or 6 miles an hour. Now the 31, a shove from Frankenfield as they try to claw their positions back. And the 52 is going to drop down. Oh, here comes the 3 to the bottom. They both sneak in there.
Whew, barely.
With inches to spare.
Yeah, that was tight because the 3 had to keep pushing the 52 to keep up momentum. Just to slot himself in lane, and it looks like they're going to be securely down there. Nope, not for long.
I think Tanner Sharp is realizing very quickly that if you want to move forward, you got to be in that outside lane. You get to the bottom, you're second in line, you're going to get past. So the outside lane seems to be where the mobility is. The inside lane seems to be where the safety is right now.
Yeah, it's amazing to see how fractured this pack is at the moment. It's kind of more, again, kind of classical, which is fitting for this series. Seeing stock cars not necessarily in a giant pack as we've been kind of accustomed to the last 10 or so years.
So this race is going by very quickly. We're almost 10 laps into this 80-lap event. Whoa, the 15 gets a big shove from the 11. Dives below the line for a moment.
Yeah, considering how strung out this pack is, really up, not so much the front, but everyone else in the pack, the odds of a caution, I think, diminished greatly. To see, whoa, that's a
The 7 of Jess Story, he's a couple laps down already.
And significantly off the pace. Something happened to him on the straightaway.
Oh, he's got big damage on that car.
Yeah, he's accelerating right now, so I think something happened to him off of turn 4.
Yeah, 52-second lap. We gotta go find out what happened to the 7.
Yeah, when they caught him, he was barely doing 100 miles an hour.
It's all by himself. It just hit the wall in turn 4. That's a perplexing situation. Kind of got stuck here and didn't want to pull off. And
yeah.
A really scary moment right here. Wow, the who was that right behind the 13? It might have been Josh Clark's 28.
I don't know, someone had a heart attack.
Ooh, getting really racy. No, it's not the 28. It was the orange car. It's the Frank Sims machine, the 75. And I don't know about what you said about the caution not being likely. They're racing pretty hard up front. I think we are going to definitely get one. It's just a matter of time of when someone makes a mistake.
Yeah, actually, there we go. 3 wide for the first time this race. And Frank Sims makes a move up the inside. That was on Justin Gable, the 13.
Kolb has the lead now, side by side with Gerald Campbell out of turn 2. Now a huge shove from the 15 to give him a launch down the back straightaway. We're 10 laps complete of 80. And now the 28 of Josh Clark. He started back in 12th spot, so he's up to 4th, up 8 so far for the 28. A good climb.
Yeah, Tanner Sharp's again the second car on the outside lane. I think that's probably his favorite spot to be, it seems.
He has not led a lap yet today, though, so if he wants to go up there and lead some, that would be a good time to do it. So let's talk about the yellow line. Once the white flag waves, Finian, it's fair game all the way on the apron. We've seen that be an issue in the past. When it comes down to that white flag, I am not feeling comfortable if I'm the leader. So it's all about how you place yourself on that white flag lap. And maybe these guys are trying to play around right now just to see what runs they can get and see how far back they can be when that white flag flies.
Yeah, it really is. And again, these cars are very easy to get a run. And we've seen this already so far. These cars suck up very easily to one another. So it's not that hard to bring a lead. That just means the leader is more of a sitting duck, and they're kind of out of options, especially with the yellow line roll.
Yeah, they push pretty well too, but again, you have the situation with these cars where the front bumper kind of undercuts the rear bumper to the point where you end up kind of lifting the rear tires of the driver in front of you off the ground. So when it gets pushy and shovey like the 52 and 11 are doing right now, that's a risky move to me, especially this early in the race, but we'll see how it pans out later.
It seems like they've gotten some sort of practice in, so they know exactly where to push and not. Definitely don't want to be pushing into the corners and kind of coming off of them. You want to let off a little bit, and more so do it on the straightaway, especially on the backstretch.
Out of turn 2 for the 13th time, it's the 2 red cars on the outside, the 52 and 11 tag teaming their way to the front. And Justin Gable is that black Dodge in the middle of the racetrack, just kind of hanging out, maybe cooling off the nose a little bit. We'll look from the rear. There's the 75, the Whataburger sponsor car of Frank Sims. And look at how much movement they have in the corners. These things are sliding around. They are driving horribly right now. And it's only going to get worse as the tires begin to wear a little bit. A lot of lifting. Oh, the 13's almost gotten the wall because he's 3 wide with the 75 going up the middle.
Sims has really been taking these guys 3 wide, going up the middle, making some moves. And he did it before, actually, on the 13 card.
Yeah, Sims is due for a victory. He's been in 3 wide racing league competition for a very long time and has not yet gotten a victory. And only waiting for his time to do so. Outside lane, 3 car strong, 52, 375, pushing hard to the lead. Here comes the 52 of Kolb on Ron Hagelin. They were lined up astern before. Now the 52's got to push from the 3.
See the outside lane still, it's kind of amazing. Again, this is what I was talking about. You really don't need a whole lot of cars. They only have 3 cars stronger than outside lane, still making up a lot of run. A lot of ground, sorry.
So let's talk pit stops here. Green flag stops at plate tracks are always a little bit concerning. How much do you practice those, or do you just kind of wing it and hope it works out?
I hope they got at least one attempt at practice before tonight, especially again with a newer car. It's gonna, bright, slightly different handle, slightly different as you're pitching it into your pit stall. So I hope they practice at least one time for these cars. Otherwise, some of these guys are gonna be in for a wild ride.
Bit of a bobble for the 52 in turn 3, and that's gonna let Hagelin pull ahead in his red number 11 Monte Carlo. Actually, that's an Impala that he's got on board that car. Across the start and finish line, he's going to lead another lap. He has led 2 laps today. Make it 3.
Still side by side for Kolb, trying to wrestle away that lead. And I haven't really seen a whole lot of other cars up in the front, really, other than Frank Sims, who's kind of joined this battle.
31 degrees of banking here, Finian. How much does that look like? Well, it's a lot. If you were to park, you'd slide right off the banking. Here's a look from on board the 15.
making a massive run. That outside lane is starting to get here too. When as you see the banking there and the transition, you see Franco also holding his line very steadily on the double yellow line. Not a whole lot of movement through the corner for him.
A lot of movement on the drivers in the outside lane, though, and I've been noticing that as the run goes on, their cars are getting more and more unstable. I'm a little bit concerned with these guys. Clark on back. They are all single file. And that second group, they have lost a ton of time. It's 10 seconds between the last car in Pack 1, the first car in Pack 2.
They pretty much need a caution to get themselves back in this race, otherwise they're not going to be anywhere near close to the front when they need to be. They just have not been making up time. They've been losing about a second a lap and continuing to do so. So they need to come up with something here or just hope for a caution.
Well, they're probably going to get one. It's just a matter of when it happens, because if it happens too close to the end of the race, that's not going to do them a whole lot of good. Across the line to complete lap number 17, Hagelin and Kolb side by side. That time, Hagelin led it by a nose.
Campbell looked like he was tempted to make a move to the inside, but thought again. Hagelin actually was pinching the outside lane up in the middle of the corner, and that's something you usually see.
I like that second group that's kind of formed there. It's got Matt Hackathorn.
Oh, Gerald Campbell with a move to the inside. Hagelin trying to keep him at bay.
Not gonna. Oh, the 31 lifted. He didn't have to. That got really dicey there for a moment. The 52 and 3 almost got side by side for the top spot, but it's all disorganized out of turn 4. The 3 and 11 almost door each other. Car in the wall. Frank Sims gets a piece of it. Gerald Campbell scatters to not get involved.
Yeah, we're gonna be clean for now. A little bit loose for some of the guys on the outside through the tri-oval. And that disconnected the 3 and the 52. Now here comes the inside of, on the inside, the 11 and the 31.
Yeah, Frank Sims did get a piece of the wall. I don't really see any damage, though, so he might have gotten away with that.
Yeah, he does look pretty loose in that car, though, so I have to keep an eye on his condition.
31 and 11. Nose to tail down the back straight. Campbell cut him a break last time, and we'll see if he cuts him another one. Not this time. But he's going to stay there. The 11 has to give him space, and Campbell to the lead in turn 3.
Oh, and Frankville with an aggressive side draft off the 11.
It's getting real out there right now. They're fighting hard.
Oh, and it looks like the 11's about to get sucker hole here. Kolb doesn't want to work with him and went to his outside, but now he's going to have to force to work with the 11 as he sauced himself out in that outside lane, but they lost a lot of time.
Yeah, lap number 20 that we've just started. We're almost a quarter of the way through this race. It looks like they're racing with 5 laps to go right now. Campbell, Frankenfield, Clark in third. He's just been hanging out watching all this happen in his windshield. Hagelin and the 52 of Kolb are fighting. Now they got to work together. The 52 drops in line behind Michael Goodman, who started back in 13th position, so he started to climb forward in his Pontiac.
Yeah, look at the run the 11, and this is what I was talking about. Look at him by himself on that outside lane holding position, actually starting to move up in line as well.
So do you need a partner? Or can you do it all on your own with a well-timed slingshot?
I think to make the pass for the lead, you definitely need a partner. To move yourself up the order, you really don't need a whole lot of cars. But definitely to get to the front is really going to start facing all that clean air in front of you, and you can't really move yourself ahead. So you're going to need at least one other car to help you, and he's got exactly that with Josh Clark in behind.
And we're going to sit here and wait for that second pack to come. It's 12 seconds.
Yeah, grab a drink from your fridge. Actually, maybe not that long. But a decent, really solid gap. I think, honestly, again, if we don't get a caution, these guys could be lapped by the end of this race. Yeah,
it's not looking good for them. Meanwhile, for the lead, here comes on the outside the number 11 with a push from Frank Sims. And Sims all sorts of sideways in turn 3, and he's losing the nose of that car big time in behind the 11.
Yeah, he seems to be really unstable in dirty air, and especially coming off the corners. So we'll see. I'm really concerned with his condition, and a few other cars have been exhibiting that as well.
And say pit stops are within 10 laps of occurring here, so when do you come? If you're that second group, you're going to go a lap down either way. Figure out when the best time is to pit. Campbell has been very strong so far this race. He has led 8 laps. Frankfield has led 3. Hagelin's led 5. Clark led none. Justin Kolb has led 5. And pretty evenly spread so far, but the 31 to me looks like one of the strongest drivers out here right now.
Yeah, we'll see if he can keep himself up here. He's done probably the best job of any of these guys really keeping himself up here. I would say also the 11's up there too. He's been very aggressive on his blocks.
Through the tri-oval. It seems like it's pretty calm, and then when they amp it up just a little bit, that's when it gets pretty chaotic. And these cars don't have quite the downforce that the Cup cars do, so if you get yourself out of shape, it's gonna be pretty hard to save it, I would think. Down the back straightaway, Josh Clark on the inside. He started his night back in 12th. He's up to 3rd position. Clark from the Virginias driving, I believe that is a Pontiac that he's got on that car tonight. Look at Frank Sims again pushing the 11 tonight.
Each pair of Chevrolets on the outside.
Out of turn 4, completing lap number 23.
This feels as a quartet of Pontiacs on the inside.
See how much these cars are skewed out. Caution! In the background, it's Carlos Acosta. Whoa! Upside down on his roof in turn 4, tumbling over. And Acosta's night is over. Nick Miller seems to be involved. That's big damage for him. Brett Miller.
Yeah, a lot of cars torn up in this wreck. This is all entirely in the second pack.
Wow. First caution, lap number 24. Not where I expected to see it. Let's go back and see what happened here.
These guys needed a caution, but unfortunately they were the caution in this.
Oh, wow!
Oof.
What an impact for the 2 and the 89 of Brent Miller. Took an absolutely hellacious hit to the outside wall. Here it is again. Or it was the 9 too. Watch this. Wow.
Oof.
And then the 2 car gets tumbled up and over.
And there's several rolls down the banking.
It's a gnarly impact. And it is all that happens as they enter the corner. There's Brent Miller on the outside. It's the 2 Carlos Acosta kind of in the middle.
Yeah, I think Acosta might have thought that he was clear there.
Watch the 9 as he comes back down. Lands on the tail of the car.
Several times, in fact.
We'll look at a couple more slow motion shots from this angle, then we'll switch around. But the 89 took a really gnarly hit on the roof of this car as well. It gets tagged in the 2, back up the racetrack, clobbers the wall, and underneath as the 2 car drills him in the door upside down. What a crazy ride that was. Here it is again, slightly different angle. And the 2 is wide. He's going to probably slip down the racetrack. And at the same time, the 89 goes up. I think he just thought that he might. I don't think he was trying to get in there, Fan. Just didn't work out. The 9 got some serious airtime there.
Yeah, he did. And the 7 also, just Story did a pretty solid job avoiding this whole thing considered.
Here's another look in real speed. And we'll ride on board with the 2 of Carlos Acosta as well. Wow. And here's an onboard from the 2 of Carlos Acosta. This is going to be a wild ride, folks. Wow. And Lance, all back on his 4 wheels, was able to drive away from that incident, but just barely. He is still rolling right now, but first caution out at lap number 24, and you're running over at the top of your screen. It's Gerald Campbell who leads the field into pit lane for the first time.
And everyone down there on pit road definitely going to want to. 26 laps into a run, if anything, you're going to be having to pit around 10 laps after. So everyone down here to get service through their machines.
Race off pit road. Gerald Campbell will win that. Tanner Sharp second. Cole, Frankenfield, Lindsay, then Justin Gable, Michael Goodman, Frank Sims, Josh Clark, Justin Dewar, the rest of your top 10.
And there's a lot of backfire off of these cars, so you don't really see much anymore.
I could be wrong about this. My understanding is that these cars are still carbureted.
Oh, yeah.
Where the Cup cars are fuel injected, so it kind of cuts down on the number of backfires that you get. I always say more fire, more good.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's kind of actually amazing to realize how long the Cup cars went without fuel injection.
So, you know, the interesting thing,
carbureted, I think, until 2011 or 2010. It was pretty late.
I want to say 2012 that they got fuel injection.
Yeah, it was somewhere around there.
Another interesting thing, and I could be wrong about this, but I think the general consensus is that everyone thought this was the original, the B car, and then it was converted to the National. I'm fairly certain that this car was originally constructed to be a Cup car. Way back before, and then by the time that iRacing was released to the public, it was the COT. That was the car of choice. I could be wrong about that, but there's a little trivia if that is correct.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could have been right, but I remember I think I got this car.
It would have been the B car.
Yeah, when I got this car, I actually got it when they had a package deal. If you got because it was the B car. It was essentially the nationwide car, and you got it as a package deal alongside the then new. I guess COT nationwide car.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. That would have been 2011.
Yeah.
Which is when you joined the service, conveniently. So our first caution, lap number 24, is going to take Carlos Acosta well and truly out of the fight. Just Story did get a piece of that But looks like it's relatively minor damage. Most of the damage was from his contact with the wall at a turn 4 a little while ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, he narrowly actually got out of that. I think, if anything, he might have hit Costa midair, but yeah, most of it came off his contact with the turn 4 wall, so he's going to fix that car up as much as he can.
So on the back straightaway now, next time by will be 1 to green here.
I also they did a really good job with the Pontiac paint scheme. It really fools the eye from this distance.
Well, it does, and I think what helps is that the Pontiac is also a GM vehicle that all have the kind of the similar nose, so it kind of looks more natural.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what I love too, because this entire gen of car is fairly generic for the most part. That's like maybe other than the Pontiac. The Pontiac was a little bit more distinct than the rest of them, and even some of the Fords too. The Taurus fits his body well.
As much as I know the COT is not a popular race car, I don't think it really took away that much manufacturer identity. If we had gone from something like the Gen 6 back to a COT, I think there'd be a lot more discussions about that.
Yeah.
I think the Gen 6 is one of the best looking stock cars ever built. I just don't think it races very well.
Yeah.
And it never really did race well. It was, I mean, I thought the COT raced great. Honestly, you go back and watch the race in 2011, 2012, that last generation of car, I thought it raced very well. Maybe not compared to the Gen 4, but certainly compared to the Gen 6, it is a much better race car.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, the next gen car will be a very interesting drive.
Yeah, it really is, yeah, especially because the amount of changes is probably the biggest change from a generation, I think, we've seen out of any.
Certainly.
Yeah. Maybe if anything, the Gen 4 to the Gen 5, but as far as technology is concerned, there's a lot of technical changes.
I mean, even the Gen 4 to Gen 5, it's still the same motor, same transmissions.
Yeah, it's really just the body that changed a whole lot.
Yeah,
most of the
chassis
stuff is the same, yeah.
I mean, the chassis was totally different, but that's true of any generational change. So 1 to green, we'll double back up for the restart here. And Carlos Acosta is still out on the racetrack. I don't think that car is going to run very well.
No, I don't think so. You know, we talked about, you know, you can run pretty much without the hood on your car with the Gen 6 package the way it is. These things, I don't think as much. He might be able to keep a little bit, but it really depends on how damaged that motor is. So we'll have to keep an eye on Acosta's car, but I don't think it's going to look too good for him.
So Gerald Campbell lining up with Pontiac teammate up on the outside lane. And it'll be Chad Frank, excuse me about that. It'll be Chad Frankenfield behind him. It'll be Tanner Sharp lined up with Justin Kolb on the inside lane. And Corey Lindsay as well. And I believe there's our 3 Flurry Motorsports cars. It'll be Sharp, Kolb, and Corey Lindsay lined up. So, time to go back racing. It'll be lap number 29 of 80. We had 24 green flag laps before our first trouble of the night. It was Brett Miller, Nick Miller, and Carlos Acosta getting tangled up in turn 3 with a horrendous wreck that left the 89 and 9 pretty much firewall deep in the safer barrier. So, time to go back to green flag racing. It's Campbell, your leader. That's that VFW car on the outside lane. Campbell machine. Lined up with a teammate. Green flag flies racing again in the 3-Wide Racing League Grand National Division from Daytona. Gerald Campbell was sideways out of turn 2 with a push from his teammate, but on the outside, the 3 and the 52 teaming up to try to shove their way forward into turn 3. Justin Gable lined up on the bottom in the 13. It's as high as he's been running today in that black and white Charger.
Yeah, Cobe and Sharp have been working really well together today, and I think, as I say that, Cobe's left the 3 of Tanner Sharp in the outside lane by himself, but they've notably been working together fairly well up until this point. It looks like they decided to be on the inside lane.
10 laps to halfway here at Daytona, and at the front of the field, here comes the 13 with a run to the outside of Frankenfield. No help up there, but maybe he'll be able to side draft and maybe get a little bit of air out of the spoiler of the 15. Not quite. Will the 52 go with him? No, he's all by himself up there, no help.
Yeah, remember I was saying, you could have a single car stay up there. He won't necessarily be able to pass with the lead, but he can definitely hang out if he's aggressive enough.
Nick Delicato started on the outside of the front row. He's back in 14th. He's been just kind of hanging out in his Toyota Camry so far. Hasn't been super aggressive tonight, but is keeping himself out of trouble, potentially waiting to be there at the end.
Yeah, I'm still seeing decent. There's already some separation for a few guys on back, starting with Nick Delicato. Slowly behind the pack, but nothing too dangerous as of yet.
Really liking that 13 of Gable. He's really turned up the width the last couple laps. I'm also seeing the 5 of Sam Close creep into the shot. Driver that we have not seen yet tonight. And also the 97 of Levi Zielinski, who had some horrendous luck in all of 2019, looking to turn things around. Josh Clark, top to bottom, jumps in the bottom lane. Here comes Frankenfield to cover on his teammate as the 13 gets a shove from Frank Sims.
Frank Sims has been also stocking up in the front of the field inside the top 5. Currently in fourth, and he could potentially be a factor by the end of the race.
Across the start-finish line, 15:31, nose to tail. And closing in on the halfway point, you see the 11 and 44. That's 9th and 10th place getting lined up. And how about Frank Sims? He's been so loose entering corners tonight. He just doesn't have the confidence in that car to drive up in there and give anybody a shove.
Yeah, I'm not sure really what it is. I'm not sure if he's just putting too much wheel a little bit later into the corner that's knocking him loose, but no one else seems to be as loose as him, and this is a fixed setup lead, so kind of curious there.
See how it works out for him. Campbell all over the back of his Pontiac partner up in the front. And Josh Clark sitting in behind, running over the gyro cam here in 6th place. Big lift through the tri-oval. And then they're going to climb to 31 degrees of banking again. There's Frank Sims trying to get back to the bumper of the 13.
Gerald Campbell is going to make a move to the outside lane. And
whoa,
another
3
move
wide
to the outside lane. That's Gable in the 13.
3 wide for the top spot here at Daytona. No help for the driver on the outside. That's Justin Gable. He's been flying solo tonight. And he's going to get pinched up there as the 75 gets a little bit loose. And here comes the 5 of Sam Close and the 97 of Levi Zielinski. And Gable's dropping back very quickly.
Yeah, I'm surprised by the move from Gable. I mean, you can hang out there by yourself if it's just 2 lanes, but 3 lanes, you're definitely going to end up finding yourself dropping to the back. So.
Yeah, not with any help. Not without help, rather. You're going to have a very bad time all the way up in that upper groove. Out of turn 2 now, still 2 by 2, 5 rows deep at the front of the field, 5 laps to halfway next time by. Still is a big portion of race cars that are, see Matt Grunberg on back. Grunberg, Fisher, Miller, and Moore all hanging out towards the tail of the field, and I'm going to bet that they're going to put themselves in a position at the end of this race, but they're betting for a caution. There it is! The 75 gets turned in front of the field. Big crash in turn 3, and they're all tangled up in it. The big one at Daytona strikes at lap number 35.
And still crashing. Corey Lindsay involved in the later part of that. And a large amount of cars taken out.
It's a junkyard in turn 4. And we knew it was going to go wrong as soon as we saw the 75 get turned around. Nick Delicato. He's got severe damage on that car. 28 of Josh Clark. A lot of our front runners involved in this one.
You can see a lot of them also just immediately make the trip down to pit road to try to start repairing those machines and really start to assess how much damage they have. But we saw that start pretty much with the 75 of Frank Sims.
Yeah, he got turned around in front of the field, and I didn't really get a good chance to see exactly how that started. We're going to take a look in slow motion, get a better idea. So he was 3 wide up the middle with Gerald Campbell, and then it was Sam Close in behind. And we see the 75 so loose on corner entry, he's going to drift up, and the 5, I think, has a run here and just gets into the back of the 75, and he's been so unstable, it just turned him right around. That's where it all goes wrong. The 5, the 31 in it. Campbell jumped on the brakes really hard. He might have missed major damage here.
Yeah, he's got some damage to the front of that car, but nowhere near as much as some of these other guys. The 11 also heavy damage to him.
32 car clobber. That's Dustin Dewar.
Oh, and the 51. Oh.
Yeah, and Delicato got a big piece of that as well. Here's another look. Right on board, slow motion from the 32 car as he pulled off the banking, was on the brakes, and drills the 5 in the door, and then the 75 slams into him in turn 4. Then you mentioned Indelicato in the 51. Comes in here and had mostly missed everything and just clobbers the 5 as well. So let's go back again and maybe watch from on board the 31 of Gerald Campbell, because this actually kind of started around him. Immediately jumped on the brakes and mostly missed big damage.
Yeah.
I think he's got some in the rear.
He's got some in the rear and then also to the left front, but other than that, it could be a lot worse.
To our second caution of the night, the big one at Daytona, and pit stops have come and gone. And Frankfield comes out the leader. Justin Kolb got tagged in the rear bumper, but that car is totally fine otherwise. Nathan Velez up to 3rd, Tanner Sharp 4th, Michael Goodman 5th, Oosterhuis, Finn Campbell, Race Clark in 9th place. Some damage on the rear bumper of that car, but otherwise looking pretty straight and narrow.
Yeah, I don't really care about the rear as much, really more so the front. Well, it looks at least this angle, it seems the 22 is good to go. So looking here, it's trying to assess who's potentially going to be out of the race from that. It's going to be quite a plethora of drivers. And especially to the 51 of Nick Indelicato.
Yeah, so he's got big damage. That Camry's all torn up in the rear.
Frankenfield now bringing the cars back around, just kind of looking to see, especially the guys like Matt Grunberg. And I was getting a little bit concerned towards the end of that run that Grunberg and company were laying just a little bit too far behind the field. Granted, it worked out in this scenario, but I was getting concerned because it was approaching 5 to 6 seconds of a gap.
So working lap number 38, we're about halfway through. Anybody, I mean, we just talked about our favorites. So one of mine was the 31 of Gerald Campbell. I just don't know. I mean, is the damage on that car going to prohibit him from winning? It's mostly repaired.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he should be fine, to be completely honest. I would imagine he would have taken all the repairs he needed before getting back out on the track, so I think he should be all good to go. I'm just kind of looking here to try to see who's left out of our front runners that I really think's got a shot, other than Frankenfield. Maybe potentially the 52 Justin Kolb and the 3 or Tanner Sharp. Those cars look pretty strong, and they were able to make their way through that wreck.
Josh Clark still on pit lane. He's been here for quite some time.
Yeah, and trying to get that thing fixed. He's definitely going to drop a lap down, if not more, in that 28. So we'll see if he can get it sorted out. And looking at Dustin Dewar, Matt Grunberg. Matt Grunberg's actually been on pit road for quite a while in the 54. We can take a look at him.
I don't think he had any damage on that car.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because those guys could definitely not have any damage because they were way far behind.
Just came down for a splash of fuel, looks like.
Okay. Yeah, I saw him earlier, and he looked like he was taking some time. I think he's purposely trying to keep himself in the back.
Yeah, well, that's what they were doing, and
Yeah.
It's worked out so far. Why would you change that, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's been working just fine for him.
I think the reason he's taking extra fuel, or at least trying to take some extra fuel, I think he feels they might have a shot of going to the end here.
Yeah, 42 laps or so.
Actually, it's going to be less. It's going to be pretty much 40 to the end once we go back green.
Across the line, pace car lights are going to shut off this time. And I see Josh Clark rejoining the racetrack right now. He's going to a long trip around to catch the tail of the field.
So we're going to it's going to be a 41 lap run to the end if we go green, which is definitely a thing within the realm of possibility. It looks like from that wreck of the drivers that we've lost, who is Frank Sims, Levi Zielinski, and Sam Close, everyone else has been able to somewhat fix their cars and get back out there. Pretty much everyone from 16th, I would say, on back has got damaged cars from that wreck, and between 16 and 23 are the cars that are still able to run. to varying degrees.
I was wondering, we're having this discussion in the comments about the bit rate here. I'm wondering if Corey running, is there a limit to the bit rate that you can push at one time?
Channel?
Per channel? I bet you there is. Because if the limit's 20K, that would make a whole lot of sense. Because we haven't broke 7K yet.
Yeah.
And I'm set to be like 13K bit rate. So I'll bet you, if we had Corey turn it down, I don't think we'd have that problem. I'm curious. I'm going to look into that after the race. Again, we apologize if you're seeing buffering while you're watching it live. It will not buffer later if you watch the replay of the race. It's just internet struggling to keep up with it one way or another. I don't think it's on our end because we've got pretty consistent internet and we're having no issue with seeing the race.
Yeah, there wasn't any reports of there being any internet issues tonight. So.
No, so I'm going to bet that it's on the YouTube end, probably because we're streaming twice, 2 races for 1 right now. I guess I'll have Corey back it down next week. We'll see if that changes that issue. Anyway, coming back to the green flag, it'll be lap number 40 of 80. Next time by will be halfway. Green flag back in the air, racing again from Daytona.
So they see the 3 of Tanner Sharp immediately getting with Justin Coe, trying to push themselves to the front. Whoa, a little bit loose for the 3 as he's aggressively working with the 52.
Brandon Kluser, who's in the 94, is also up here, as is Gerald Campbell, who just narrowly avoided disaster in that last wreck by jumping on the brakes just in time. Colt drops to the bottom. The 3 will follow him, but I'm not sure if these 2 will stay loyal to each other or if we'll see some breakup. We do have a very big gap between what is essentially 6th place and 7th. That's Michael Goodman in 7th, and 8th place Kevin Finn in the 14, who's a little ways back. I wonder if they're letting him get out front on purpose.
I mean, I guess it almost seems like the 14's down on power.
Didn't have any damage on that car, so I'd expect that not to be the case.
Yeah, the guys up ahead, they're approaching almost 200 miles an hour into turn 1, while Goodman was almost 5 to 7 miles an hour slower off the pace. So
there's the 75 pulling off on the apron. Kluser, who's to the lead with a push from Gerald Campbell. So at least we know the 31's still capable of pushing, and that damage is almost entirely repaired, so I would not expect that to be an issue at all. And that thing's almost repaired to 100%, it looks like.
Yeah, I think you just got to be careful if someone's in behind pushing him. He's got some decent amount of damage to the right rear of that car. And ooh, Coe with an aggressive move up in front of the 31, going to slot himself out there to try to retake the lead.
Again, the outside is where the mobility is. If you want to go forward, I think you have to use that outside lane and then pull down in front to hang on to it. I don't know if you can maintain leading on the outside, though. I think once you're there, you have to drop to the bottom.
Yeah, that second back, they're definitely up to something. Not sure if it's on purpose or not, but pretty much 7th on back is running, or sorry, 8th on back.
Yep.
Is running quite a bit ways behind the rest of the field.
About 2 seconds back, that's Kevin Finn and Matt Hackathorn. That's that red, white, and blue car on the outside lane. Top 7.
Yeah, that's
together.
7 cars will make up our lead pack, and most of the guys here we've seen all night long, save for maybe the 94 of Brandon Kluser's.
And Kluser's has gotten to the lead, and he has led officially 1 lap as they cross the start-finish line.
Potentially have a shot of leading more if you can get going with the 3 on the inside. Also, the 48 and 8th Velez, haven't mentioned him a whole lot tonight.
Now the back straight snaking, and this is why we talked about it in the pre-race, how dangerous this back straightaway can be. Caution in the background. It's Race Clark. Big crash on the back straightaway. Someone's upside down, and it's the 09 of James Miller.
He went for a ride.
There are 3 Millers in this race, and all 3 of them have been on the roof tonight.
Yeah. It has not been good for them.
Not a good night to be a Miller.
Nope. He went for a wild ride. I think probably the wildest out of all 3 of them.
Here's a look out of turn 2. Oh, the 22 got turned across the racetrack and like a top. That was the 09. Flipping and sliding across the pavement. See how this kind of formed up.
Started with Race Clark on the bottom. Not sure we got turned.
That's the 7 of Jess Story in the middle. That blue car with the yellow number got into the tail. Wow.
Jess clipped the 22 in the right rear.
Look at that sparking slide down the back straightaway. Do we dare ride on board with the 09?
Hey, why not?
Wrong car. Let's go back a little farther. Wow. Wild ride for him. So let's go back in again and kind of analyze this a little bit slower, because I'm not really sure if we can place blame on any one driver.
Yeah,
this is just kind of a racing incident.
Yeah, let's go from, I was going to say go from the zoomed-in camera, or TV3.
Yeah, so here's the 7 on the outside of the 22, and he's going to kind of look up the middle. And we've seen a lot of incidents start with this looking up the middle. And does the 22 drift up? Not maybe the last minute before they get together. He might have drifted up,
Yeah.
but
I would say probably
7 probably at fault for that.
Yeah, I would say kind of more on the 7, just because he has more control. You know, you kind of expect the inside lane's going to check up a little bit.
Yeah, he could see the 22 a whole lot better than the 22 could see the 7.
Yeah,
and you see right here, it just two cars. He didn't turn into him. It was just kind of 2 cars coming together at the wrong time. But bad situation, and the 09 went for a wild upside down slide on the back straightaway. Here's another look full speed. So we've had 3 cautions so far tonight, and all 3 of them have been pretty severe accidents.
Yeah. And surprisingly, you know, you would think, you know, that second pack, if anything, I'm not entirely sure they were planning that or not, to drift on back to stay out of the lead in case something happens. Well, they were probably in the worst place for that to happen, as the wreck was pretty much in that second pack by itself.
So 45 laps into this 80-lap event this evening, and we've had 12 lead changes so far. And anybody that stands out to you lately on this most previous run? I think Gerald Campbell all night has been the strongest car, and it doesn't look like that damage has hurt him at all. So what do you think about that?
I think he's pretty much set to go to the end of this race. Again, I would really say our front runners is pretty much the guys in your top 5: Cobe, Campbell, Booster, Sharp, and Frankenfield. And I'm curious if we are going to see that kind of same split in the run here. Kevin Finn was leading that second pack. Was trying to lay on back. He's got a few other drivers with him. Ron Hagelin, Matt Hackathorn, Drew Eisenman, and Jordan McKee are all kind of in the middle of the pack.
All right, so see if the lights of the pace car turn off this time by. They will not. We're going to take a break just for a moment. Stay with us. We will be right back for the restart in just a minute.
Would you like to have a career in racing, and if so, what would you like to do, Dale?
Well, I want to be a race car driver someday. That's, it's all I've ever known, racing.
What did you want to be when you grew up? So many people live a life of what if. Go to school, go to college, get a 9-to-5. This is how we support our dreams, with a safety net. Because we're unsure about taking a leap of faith. Because we're afraid. As we grow, we cross things off our list of dreams. We cut them down, make them realistic. Having control of things is reassuring. But for some, the rush of being out of control is what gives them life. Some say racing cars is reckless. Maybe they're right. Out of bounds isn't just cheating, it's cheating death. Football fields made up in seconds. Decisions made in instants. For the people that climb behind the wheel of these cars, they're not driving it. They become part of it. It's an extension of the body. As a child, I looked up to these people, faces hidden by helmets. The less you saw of the driver, the more believable it became that they were, in fact, just part of the machine. It's easy to forget that inside the cockpit is someone just like us, but with the mindset that fear is a motivation, not a barrier. But the reality is, race car drivers are not like us. They never cross anything off their list of dreams. They just keep writing more. Daytona.
Come to the line. This is the finish of the Daytona 500. Side by side.
Le Mans. Indianapolis. Monaco. Places that used to be just places, now international symbols of victory. To those that enjoy the spectacle of racing, the 2 feet of concrete and steel cables are a wall between us and them, between sitting in the grandstands and standing in victory lane. These same walls are a stark, immovable reminder that racing drivers put their lives on the line for the sake of the thrill and entertainment. Despite the risk.
Going back to the green flag here in the 3-wide Racing League Grand National Division, it's Justin Kolb and Gerald Campbell in the lead. The red car on the bottom, that's the 52 of Kolb on the outside, the 31 of Campbell. Green flag back in the air, working lap number 48, 33 laps to go.
Campbell immediately trying to slot himself in front of Frankenfield. And it's going to, nope, he decided not. Going to go against that. Going to jump to the top. The 3 who looked like he was going to work with him decided to say no, he's going to drop to the inside.
We've had 3 cautions so far. Do you think we go caution free to the end, or do you think we have one soon? With 1:10 to go, what do you think?
I think we're going to have one around 10 to go. Definitely later in the run. I think we could see this go green for quite a while here. You see everyone trying to draft off of one another, build some runs. Here's Frankenfield going to split the middle 3-wide.
Here comes the 15, up the middle, 3-wide for the top spot. He's got it. Here comes Klooster, who's back on the bottom with a push from the 31. Can he take that 94 to the lead? Through turn 4, Frankenfield drops on back. The 52 lines up with him.
Here comes the 51 of Nick Indelicato. I thought the car was going to be almost destroyed.
It's repaired quite well, all things considered.
And he's hitting top speed and running in the draft, so that car is pretty much good to go.
I thought it would be a whole lot worse off than it is. The 52 does not look like he wants to help the 15. He got out to breathe for a moment. Tucks back in behind the 15.
You see him not being aggressive, mainly due to the corner, but he's leaving a gap here. I think he's got something else planned. I think the 52, he's going to line up with the 3. Those guys, I've seen those guys almost always together. They have not really separated in this entire race.
Coming back to lap number 50 of 80. With the 15, drop down behind the 31. Now the 94 is between the 52 and 3. And here comes Michael Goodman in the 44 to kind of spoil that party as well.
We got Nick Indelicato and Corey Lindsay at the tail end of this, making this an 8-car race in the front. Then a small gap on back to the rest of the guys. So you see Carlos Acosta. You gotta give props to Acosta for still being out there trying to put some laps in.
He's in the wall, but it might matter. The points that he's gathering right now could matter at the end of the season, so it's good to keep out there and just get everything you can get. 30 laps to go next time by, about 24 minutes of racing remaining. It's 10:39 here on the East Coast. You'll know the winner then by about 11:10 p.m. Here comes Campbell, continues to lead this field. And everyone's single file for now, but I don't think it'll be that way for long.
No, definitely won't. It's pretty much going to be a sprint to the finish here. I think we're going to be done with pit stops.
See the eyes of Frankenfield then behind. Here comes the 52 to the outside, thinks better of it.
I had a little bit of a look here. I think he's just going to be waiting. I think a lot of these guys are probably going to be waiting. I think for the next 10 or so laps, they're just going to be kind of riding in line here.
There's the 09 back on the racetrack, James Miller. Couple laps down. As the field goes on by the 52, trying to get out there all by himself. Not a lot of help though.
Yeah, we got out there and just wasn't able to get enough of a run. So he's going to slot himself back in behind the 15 and in front of the 94. Now here comes a run on the outside from the 51. And he's got Corey Lindsay helping him out.
Justin Kolb is trying to work that side draft on the 15, but he's not getting very far. Now he pulls even with him with a run. And the 94 Klooster, who's just going to follow.
As well as the 3 of Tanner Sharp. So here they go for their run on the outside. Does Klooster just bail? No, he's going to stick with the 52.
Lap cars up the road I see way off in the distance. We'll see if they get out of the way. The 15 going to pull out from the 31. Take a run to the top spot. 3 wide again for the lead at Daytona.
Frankenfield with a block to the outside to keep him from getting this lead away from him or Campbell.
Through 3 and 4, the 52 has to back out, slot back in line. Here comes Goodman on the bottom of the pine cone cabin. Pontiac as he tries to take a run to third.
There's a 51. That car looking like it should be kind of in a junkyard at the moment. Is with a really good run here. He has the shot potentially to take the lead.
And Nick Delicato with that car shortened up pretty well on both ends is in 6th place right now. He's should get the award for sticking it in there as well, because I would have pulled that car off the track when I saw how much damage I had earlier.
Yeah, especially getting some solid nose damage too, but it was able to keep that car in the race. Now here you see Frankenfield working the outside. Now here's the 44 Goodman with a big shove.
Big shove is an understatement. He absolutely slammed the back of the 31.
You see the front outside lane with Frankenfield starting to die off a little bit. Cole's going to pull back in line with the 94.
Laps are starting to wind down. Corey Lindsay is sitting in the back. You see the blurry motorsports cars. Will they get lined up? That's Tanner Sharp, one of his teammates together. And they are likely going to get hooked up and try to go to the front. Up in front, you see the 44 Goodman. He's lined up in second. I wonder if he'll jump to the outside and try to bring Frankenfield with him. Here he comes. He's taking a look. He thought about it. Here he goes.
There he goes for the move to the outside. Now Frankfield's going to work with him.
On the outside with a run for the top spot. Goodman has not led a lap today. Can he get through turn 4 and lead one at lap number 55? Side by side with the leader, Gerald Campbell, across the line. Goodman is going to lead this lap by a nose. He's got one on the board now. And Frankfield's going to try to push him all the way to the front.
It's going to be hard to do it so far now, but I think if you can keep hooked together here, they can potentially get something off of turn 2.
Campbell pulls even. Lap car on the outside lane. It's going to split them. Big push.
Aggressive shove from the 15 of Frankenfield. Starting to lose a little bit of steam, and we've lost a few more guys. It's just a 5-car pack now.
Yeah, Delicato and the Glory Motorsports cars have backed out. They're letting these front 5 push and shove. Across the line this time, Campbell gets it by a nose. 25 laps to go. They are building a gap on that 6th place car.
Yeah, I would imagine they should be able to cash back up again, because initially Lindsay and the 51 of Indelicato weren't a part of that leading group, and they kind of were able to push and shove their way up to them. And now they've dropped out yet again.
These guys are racing like it's the last lap. They still got a little ways to go. About 18 minutes worth of racing. 15 and the 31 have been the class in the field tonight. Justin Kolb has been up there since the drop of the green flag as well. Now you see in the background, I don't think that 51 is as strong when he's by himself. He's going to let the blurry cars go on through. And here comes Kevin Finn, Drew Eisenman, Matt Hackathorn, Richard Hines, Matt Grunberg, and more. They're starting to build a run, maybe go back forward.
Yeah, I imagine this is what they were waiting for. Or if anything, I think they got to start going now to start building up a run to get back there. There you see Tanner Sharp, who just blew on by everyone else. He's trying to get himself back to the front alone.
Yeah, they're losing touch. They are 6/10 back from 5th place Kloosterhuis. And now that this front group is starting to get sorted, and as I say that, they look like they're going to go side by side again. That's what this second group needs to do, is they need to get back to the leaders.
Catching him by himself. He's he's a few miles faster than the group ahead.
Here he comes. Look at the run that he's got. I wonder if he's going to try to go to the lead with it. We're right on board.
This is what I'm talking about. The draft is amazing in these things.
198 off into turn 1. He's going to take a heck of a run to the outside of Kloosterhuis here in a moment.
Yeah, especially off the corner as well. Here he comes with a head full of steam.
Will he sit on it or will he take it somewhere? Field side by side in front of him. Outside.
200 miles an hour there for a second. He's going to back off in behind the 94.
31 sideways into turn 3. Almost lost control at 195 miles an hour, but he hangs on.
Big speed difference there. Goodman going to back off of it.
And now Tanner Sharp is caught in this group. Nick Delicato and Corey Lindsay drafting right back up into the mix and bringing the rest of the field with them. Closing in on 20 laps to go from Daytona.
I'm a little bit surprised they're actually letting the 51 lead that group. Because again, I think that car is fine in behind other people. However, by itself in the front facing that air, I think they're going to be losing time.
Here comes a shove from the 31. Connection to the back bumper. Absolute shot to the rear end of that 52.
Also on the outside a little bit sideways for the 15 and the 94. That's going to get them a little bit separated.
And there's that second pack. They have caught the leaders. It's really all the way back to 16th place. I make that 15th place Jordan McKeevoy. So it'll be a 15-car fight instead of just a 5-car fight. Campbell to the outside for the lead. Here he comes back on the 52, lined up with his Pontiac partner in the 15.
Those are the 2-car group up ahead of lap cars.
And one of them is the 7 of Jess Story. The other, I believe, could be the 11 of Ron Hagelin.
That is him. Both these cars severely damaged in different wrecks.
Well, they're going to have a field to deal with here in a moment, because here come the rest of the cars.
52, Cove a little bit loose on the back straightaway, I think from the 44. That's a bad shove.
This time by 20 laps to go from Daytona. About 15 minutes worth of racing. We've had 3 cautions. Can we get back 20 more laps without causing another one? Will the drivers in front of them yield? We saw that. Oh, yeah, they are. That is exactly what they should be doing, Finny. We saw this be an issue in the Outsider Racing League race a few weeks ago. Not an issue tonight.
Here comes the 51 and the 00. They're back in the picture as well as bringing Kevin Finn, Drew Eisenman, Matt Ackathorn, Richard Hines, Matt Gruberg. Half those guys we haven't seen all race. They've been just kind of hanging out in the back, and here's their shot of potentially getting the win here.
And the 52 back to the outside with a run. I'm seeing a lot of cars that look very similar towards the back of the field. McKeevoy, Fisher, Gruberg all running very similar paint schemes. We'll see if those guys charge to the front and work this like they did the truck race about a year back or so.
Yeah. They know what they're doing, definitely, and I definitely trust in what they're doing. And if I'm some of these other guys, I'll be a little bit worried.
It appears that our pit rate is cleared up quite a bit. Yeah. So, looks like we're back smooth. Just in time for the finish. Wonder if ERSCA is over by now. Could be. Maybe not. Out of turn 2, again, Kolb continues to lead the race with a shove from the 15. How much are they pushing? How hot is that 15 getting right now?
It'd be tough to tell. I really wish we could tell. It'd be awesome if we were able to see the gauges flashing on some of these guys, because some of these guys have been really aggressive on the bumper.
18 laps to go this time through. Oh, the 15 right up in front of the 31. That was a late decision there, but Campbell's been super good at backing off of things tonight and not causing accidents. He's done a really good job getting through them as well. Frankenfield takes over the command of the race for a moment. Here comes Kevin Finn in the 14. Haven't talked a lot about him tonight. Up in 6th. He started in 4th, but was one of the drivers right out of the gate that dropped down the field. Now there's a bunch of lap cars kind of scattered all over the place in front of him. Going to get really interesting here in a moment.
Here you see the field. A lot of the field starting to double file up yet again.
Here they come, past the 28 of Josh Clark. Past, trying to see what car that is. That's the 48 of Nathan Velez. 17 to go.
Actually, Velez's car doesn't look that damaged. I'm curious how he lost the pack.
I think we've got the strongest cars in the race right in this one frame.
Don't necessarily agree with that. I think we got a few sleepers sitting in the back out of the picture.
Is Matt Gruberg really a sleeper?
Well, for this race, he has been. And that entire team has been a little bit of a sleeper. They've been out of the picture for most of this race.
I was just going to ask if there was any track type that Matt Gruberg isn't good at, but I don't think there is.
It's a bit surprising. Usually in some of the other play types, we've seen his present at least sometime inside the top 5, before the very end of the race, but he's been completely out of it and almost outside the top 15 at most points.
It seems like the last season and a half or so, he seems like he's kind of hung out towards the back, though. So this is kind of right on par. Oh, the 44, big hit on the apron through turns 1 and 2. This seems right on par with what he's done. I think back to Talladega, same thing there. He ended up winning that race, and he wasn't a factor the entire night. So maybe similar thing here. They're getting really racy at the front. Frankenfield and Klooster, who's line of start. The 14 is shove.
An aggressive dive from the 14. Also there you see, that is the
84, Hackathorn. And the 77 of Eisenman. And a lap car in front. Will they be able to navigate this without causing a calamity? It's the 13 of Justin Gable, and I'm surprised to see him back here.
Yeah, him and Velez I'm surprised to see them drop off the pace. Not sure what happened to those cars. Have they lost the pack?
"15 laps to go. Gerald Campbell tonight has led 25 laps. And Frankenfield, to his outside, has led 15 laps. Who's gives him a big shove off into 3.
Yeah, I have a derby feeling. I feel like these two guys are not going to still be side by side. I'm curious who's going to be able to get past them before this race is over.
It's a pair of Pontiacs in command. Kloosterhuis drops in behind the 52. Eisenman sitting in 7th, watching this all from behind. Look at the speeds, 200 miles an hour off into turn 1. These are the highest speeds that we will see all season long. Except maybe a trip to Talladega.
Yeah, that inside lane is not going anywhere with Campbell in the front.
Now again, he does have some damage. It hasn't really seemed to hurt him too bad. And to see the 52 take a shot to the front.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's necessarily even the damage or just the 94 and the 44 not being aggressive enough in behind. But now Cobb is in front of the 31, and now here comes Frankenfield by himself on the outside lane.
Running out of laps, running out of time to make strategy, but look who's 12th. Matt Bloomberg, he's taking Jeffrey Fisher, his teammate, with him. And you see they've got themselves up on that outside groove because that's the groove that they're going to take to victory if they can get there in time. But will they be able to get there?
That's what I'm a little bit concerned. They're playing this almost a little bit too cautiously. I've been keeping my eye on them, but I feel like, again, if I'm them, I definitely want to at least be towards the end of this pack within the next 5 laps. And laps are winding down.
The longer we run, the more side-by-side these guys will be. And you cannot pass guys that are 2 and 3 wide. It's like a brick wall. You need to figure out how to get there and then figure out how to slice it nice around them. Wow!
Drifting
Holy
off
cow.
of turn 4.
That was a slide if I've ever seen one. Have a look at this. This was out of turn 4 just a moment ago. Woo-hoo. That's a crash. Back live. "31 and 15 lined up like they were before. The 94 and 52 lined up on the bottom. Now down the back straight. Frankenfield's been extremely aggressive with his shoves, but he's been very safe about them as well. So I'm liking, if I'm on the last lap and I'm a teammate to that 15, I want to have that 15 car behind me because he's been super good at pushing tonight.
Yeah, well, I'm sure I imagine Frankenfield's going to want to at least take a victory as well. So we'll have to see how willing some of these guys are going to be team players.
Roy Lindsay in the background is running 11th. He's got some front-end damage, and I think Bloomberg and Jeffrey Fisher are going to bypass him on their way back up to the front. That time they were 3/10 quicker than the leader, so they are making time now. But they're only going to have 11 laps to get back to the front.
I hope they time this right, because if not, they're going to just end up a little bit short.
Next time by will be 10 laps to go. That'll be 25 miles. In the season opener for the 3-Wide Racing League Grand National Division, you saw the 31 get sideways off into 3.
Yeah, what's scaring me is the guys have started to push into the corners, which is probably one of the worst places to push, if not off the corners. So they're definitely getting aggressive here. 10 laps to go.
25 miles to determine the winner. They will not remember you for finishing 2nd. They will not remember you for finishing in 5th. The only place that matters is 1st.
Now remember, you're coming upside down across the start-finish line. You can ask right now.
Oh, there it is. That's too soon.
Hey, he's alive.
Oh! The 52 slides out of turn 2, and he hangs on. Cuts back onto the course.
No!
And clobbers the 94. And they're going to slide off the course.
Oh,
no
man,
caution.
no caution for them. Yeah, being off the racing service, but these two guys are going to be pretty much out of the race for now.
Yeah, they just took each other out of that. And you saw it happen. The 94 got in the back of the 52, turned him into the dirt. And Kolb turned right back up on the track, expecting to be given room, and they were not. 9 laps to go. Now the race is on.
Oh, he's definitely on it. Through the pack, all out of whack. Here comes Michael Goodman up to the front.
Where did he come from? He's been hanging out in 3rd to 5th.
Yeah, and here comes Kevin Finn and Hackathorn and Eisenman. Look at the entire outside line. Those guys have not been up in the front all day long, and now here they are at the end.
Trying to beat the incumbent drivers that have been here all night long. They see the smoke clearing out of turn 2. And Nick Indelicato has pulled his car off the road.
Whoa, no!
There they go! Big crash on the back straightaway. And the 84 gets drilled. And caution out with 9 laps to go.
Well, I did say I felt like we were going to see a little wreck around 10 laps
Well,
ago.
you were not wrong. Well, you did. You got another one with 9 to go. Nice trends there, Larry Mack. Trends of the race.
I
Have
guess
a caution with 9 laps to go.
Yeah, I mean, you can almost throw in there, too, the incident between Cove and Kluster.
That's what I was talking about. Time to go crash.
Yeah. But, yeah, that's pretty much the precursor
Oh,
to this.
the
Man.
14 took a hell of an impact. Let's take a look at what happened to him, because he got really the brunt of it. Watch this.
Oh, yeah, rode the wall.
That was a Lightning McQueen fence ride there. And then 15 got into the back of the 44, turned him across the track. Campbell made it through, barely.
Yeah, barely. Even Frankville, too, is not damaged, at least. And same thing with Drew Eisman and Richard Hines. In fact, the majority of that pack was able to get through there relatively unscathed. It didn't look like it for a second.
That was a wild accident. Here's another look from a different angle. So the 15 and 44 were drafting together. Forward from up above.
Yeah, the 15 just caught 44 there, got a little loose.
Wow, the 84 took a heck of an impact. The 87 of Hines might have gotten some damage there. Let's go back now and look at the incident between the 52 and the 94, because that was quite the situation they had. Here's a look. So Kluster is going to get probably up underneath the 52 on corner exit right here. He's going to stick the nose under and tags 52, and then Kolb turns hard back right and just destroys the 94 and takes him with him. I'm not sure if that was intentional or if that was just I'm swinging back up and I hope you're not there.
Yeah, I don't know, honestly.
It's hard to tell, to be honest.
It really is.
I mean, I'm sure the spotter was saying
I
there
think
was
that also
there.
might have been, too. I think the 52 of Kolb was carrying a lot of momentum. I think he was trying to get back up onto the main part of the apron before hitting the bus stop.
Right, so we'll look from this angle. You see the grass is approaching, and he's got to get back on course before the grass
so
hits.
he's going to swing the car violently back here.
And right here,
yeah,
wow, and he just takes the 94 with him along for the ride. And they did a good job of not making that worse than
I
it
was
could
going
have
to say,
been.
actually, both of you guys could essentially be back in this race. They didn't really take that much damage other than some door-to-door contact, but I mean, you really don't need your doors at this point.
Yeah, you see
except
the 52,
except to match them in a little bit more by the end of this.
not going to have any left at this point. Might as well be driving a Jeep Wrangler out there.
Yeah, but both our cars should be fine handling-wise and engine-wise, so that's really all you need. You can ask a few drivers in the field, especially the 51.
So, have we had pit stops? The front 9 have stayed out, and everyone else has just come to pit lane.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised by that.
No point, really. If you already got your tires and fuel, no need to come back down.
Yeah, just, you know, always got to bring into picture, look who's 5th, 6th, and 7th.
They loved that,
Yeah.
because it brings them right up into the mix, and
Yeah,
Brewer to be on the inside lane.
The guys almost essentially just handed them over the race. They're taking a good amount of the drivers out and throwing them all out of order. They've placed themselves quite well up inside the middle of the field. However, I'm a little bit concerned we're not doing a wrecking yet.
Oh, no. You know what the Green White Checkered situation is?
I was just about to check.
Okay. Because I don't know. And I would like to know before we get to there, because I'm going to bet that we are going to get there. Again, I like to keep up to date with all the rules, but there's so many leagues I've got to keep track of. And tonight we had to get the PTR TV guys, Corey Silva and Brendan Kreutz, set up. They are taking care of the ERSCA Xfinity Series. So of course, we couldn't broadcast both at once. They've thankfully come on board to save our butts and allow us to schedule both series with us. So across the start-finish line this time, we'll see the lights are going to stay on. We'll have 2 more laps of caution. We'll take this time to remind you, if you're watching now, that the SimTV company has a brand new merchandise store. If you've wanted a SimTV t-shirt or a snapback hat or a vinyl decal to put on your computer or on your car, now is the time to get it. Head over to simtvbroadcasting.com/store. And remember, if you sign up as a YouTube member for the $5 a month tier, you get shipping for free to the continental U.S. I want to thank everybody for helping us out and getting that project off the ground.
One attempt.
One attempt at the Green White Checkered, and how much you want to bet we're going to have that attempt?
Pretty high, I would say. Not a betting man, but
I'm a betting man. I bet that we get it. We've had 31 lead changes in 75 laps. That's good for about 2 every or one every 2 laps rather. So with restarting with about 4 to go, that's going to give us 2 lead changes at the very least, judged on Larry Mack's statistics. And I'm not convinced that the driver that's leading the race right now is going to be your winner.
Yeah.
I'm taking a look back, and I see someone who's crept up into the picture.
I'd be surprised if we don't see at least one of these 3 cars, the 54, the 06, and the 21, Grunberg, Fisher, and McKeeboy, respectively. If we don't see one of those guys in victory lane.
Can I just say how gorgeous this paint scheme is? With the number font and everything, it is a great-looking race car.
It really is a solid-looking car, also especially, too, with the Monte Carlo branding.
This is the highest that he's been all day in 5th place after starting in 17th. So across the start-finish line, you can see the amber lights atop the Ford FR500 Mustang pace car. They are going to shut off, as does the lights on the top of the scoring tower. And we're going to double back up for a restart here.
And a 4-lap shoot-up to the end of this race. 10 miles.
Looking from high above Daytona International Speedway. And my name is Kyle Heyer. I'm joined by Finney Nakuna. We are Sim TV. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button and join us at least once every couple nights, because we got a lot of streaming. We got stock cars, sports cars, everything in between. And we'll be streaming again tomorrow night. No, we won't be. I lied. We'll be streaming Wednesday night and Saturday night because we got a little bit of a week off, and then we'll be right back into the fray the week after that. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell to be notified every time we go live. Because it is a lot. And if you like watching this, you'll like watching everything else as well.
You can see, too, the field dramatically shortened from what we started with. 29 cars took the green flag into this event. As far as drivers on the lead lap, we're down to 16.
Which is just over half the field that we started with tonight. And we had first 24 laps green, and then there was a quick group of yellows, and then most recently the caution at lap number 69. Nope, lap 71. That will end right now on lap number 76. We're going to turn them back loose. 4 laps, 10 miles from Daytona. I'm sure all these drivers are thinking, I'm going to bring back the checkered flag, or I'm bringing back the steering wheel, because this car is probably not going to make it if I don't get the checkered. Here we come. 4 laps to go. Green flag back in the air at Daytona. Whoa, cars chasing each other down to the apron. That was the 87 and the 06. Hines and the 06 of Fisher that almost got into it, trying to get down to the yellow line. And it's the 31 of Campbell that leads off turn 2.
Yeah, you see Hines all over the back of the 31 trying to give him a shove to 3, doing likewise on the top side with Eisenman. And it looks like that top side's starting to win out just a little bit.
I see teammates lining up. Jeffrey Fisher and Matt Gruenberg, and as well as the 21 of McKeeboy, line astern, 1, 2, 3. Teammates lined up, 3 laps to go for the top spot. Campbell and Hines shoving their way forward. Here comes the 87 to the outside lane.
Yeah, if these guys, they definitely don't want to leave the outside lane, especially with the 1-sim guys lined up there. I imagine they're definitely going to move their way to the front. I want to be part of that.
Gonna get wild here. Hines in front of the 3 of Tanner Sharp. Campbell on the bottom. He's missing the 15 of Frankenfield because he's back, and it looks like
the 3
big
almost,
slide.
Yeah, the 3 almost turned around the 87. There is some bad contact off of 2, and still aggressively pushing Hines.
And here comes the 0. Oh, big slide down the bottom of the racetrack. Cuts in front of Campbell. Now it exposes the outside line. I think that was a mistake because the teammates are going to have clean air in front of them to drive forward.
I bet Tanner Sharp's definitely watching those guys and waiting to
Here
move.
He comes.
There he goes.
Back up to the outside. Big slide. Out of control.
Going to try to move himself up here. Does Fisher go to the outside? He tries to have a look, but Sharp's going to block him off.
2 laps to go. If we get back to the white flag, the race will be official. If we crash before the white flag, we're going to get a reset. Here we go.
How about Richard Hines in the 87 leading this race? Didn't think he would be leading it, potentially coming to the white flag, and I still don't think he will.
Whoa!
Campbell with an aggressive move to the outside is going to check up that lane.
Now you're going to make the car as wide as possible, trying to block them left and right. Sharp with a huge run from the 06 of Fisher. He's going to taste the lead here. We'll see if he can hold on to it, though. I don't know. The 87, a good run through 3 and 4. 3 wide behind him.
Yeah, if I'm the 3 of Tanner Sharp, I am not leaving this outside lane no matter what.
This time by, white flag is in the air. We will make it back. It'll be a green finish at Daytona. Hines in control. Sharp on the outside with a push from the 06 of Fisher.
Oh, he gets turned! Oh, and Fisher gets turned as well. Gruberg's still in, and a bunch of cars wrecked in turn 1. We remain green. They're racing it back to the line.
Hines in control of the race. Campbell, cars, oh my, horrible, horrible accident behind them.
Oh, we're not done yet. Remember, they can pass below the yellow line if need to.
Here comes a 31 to the outside. A push, a shove from the 54 of Grunberg, who's somehow still in this fight. The 52 to the bottom of the racetrack, through the middle, 3 wide. Contact! Oh,
and
they're going to crash.
They somehow don't, and here comes Cobo over the back of the 31.
Coming back to the checkers. Here they come. Campbell in control from pole to win. Can he do it? Here they come to the checkers. Gerald Campbell wins at Daytona in a wild last lap, a bloodbath. But celebrations for Gerald Campbell. And the 51 of Nick Delicato took an absolutely horrendous impact into the catch fence in turn 2. We will go back and show it to you after. But there was some destruction.
Oh yeah, that's doing kind words to it. And man, I wish we had the new damage model for something.
It would have made things look a little bit less silly as well. But what a race for Gerald Campbell.
Yeah, you said probably one of the best cars out here. Definitely proved it. Great run in the last stretch of laps. Is able to defend and take the lead back. And gonna be doing some burnouts here on the front straightaway.
He started from pole tonight. He led 33 laps. Almost half the laps. And he'll come back on through and a push from the 15 to shorten up the rear end. But Campbell's gonna celebrate.
Gotta make it past Tech somehow.
What a drive. We'll go back and watch the whole last lap and the incidents that happened. But Gerald Campbell is going to celebrate at Daytona. He is your winner of the first round of the 3-Wide Racing League Grand National Division from Daytona. Here is a look at your race results as the 31 celebrates. Kolb 83 thousandths behind.
Looking on back to a lot of the guys that ended up wrecking out of this race.
Wow. I don't have any words after that. That was a pretty wild finish.
Yeah, indeed. And definitely have to take a look at that wreck that happened in turn 1 because a lot of cars are taking out of that one.
Yeah, so let's go back and we'll take a look because again, most of the field was involved in that turn 1 collision. And then when it got back to the turn 2 area, that's when Nick Delicato took probably one of the worst hits I've ever seen in motorsport, period. It was Fisher and the 3 of Tanner Sharp that got involved. Here is a look. And, the 06 got in the back of the 3, and that's where it all started. 15 got in it. Wow. That new damage model would have helped there. And then Nick Delicato.
Yeah, I don't know how
goodness.
He managed to get himself that high in the fence.
We're going to look at this in slow motion because it's worth taking a look at. He was already on the apron from the collision. He's going to correct and get into it at the 94, and oh my goodness.
Ooh. Yeah, and it's safe to say if there wasn't an invisible wall keeping all the cars on the track, he would have been out in the parking lot.
Yeah.
With the amount of air he caught.
Oh, that was a just absolutely destructive hit.
That's what onboard.
So he's going to see a lot of this. You're going to see the 06 and the 3 on the outside lane. They're going to get hooked together. And he's going to probably turn left to try to miss this. He's going to get tagged. No, he didn't get tagged. He just was already on the apron. And had
I think it was him rejoining here violently.
And then right here, he's just going to get hit. Yeah, he got hit for the 94.
I was trying to save it.
And corrects and back up into the wall. And wow.
Oof.
Disorienting. Wow. Oh, man, that made me feel sick for a second. I'm sure he's not feeling so good either.
Yeah, probably not.
Gets hit in the
get
roof.
hit again. Just for good measure.
Well, here's one last look at your race results before we cut away, and we're going to grab your race winner and a few more drivers to talk to. But it was Gerald Campbell, the dominant car of the day. Oh, what we got to do is go back and look at the finish. As they came back to the checkers. We didn't get a chance to do that yet. Let's go back and see what happened for Gerald Campbell to put himself in position to win this race. So here he is on the bottom behind the 87 of Hines. And he's going to swing to the outside. And this is where I think we're going to go ahead a little bit, don't we? Oh, no. Yeah, we do. We have to go ahead. So this is coming to the white flag this time by. And this is where the 0, 6, and 3 are going to get hooked together. So he's still second right now. As Nick Andelicato, you see him in the background take a horrendous hit. He's going to draft up behind the 87. He's going to swing to driver's left, then back to driver's right. What a move that was. And a push from Grunberg that kind of caught Grunberg off guard.
Yeah, I think he needed to do that to ensure to destroy the run from the 54. And from then on, it was just a matter of managing 3 different lanes at once.
Here's Justin Colby. He tried so hard to put himself in position. And then he couldn't build a run. I think that's where Kolb knew it was futile. So, with that, we're going to jump to break for a moment. We'll be with you in just a few minutes to talk to your race winner and more. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back live to Sim TV. We're here now with your 11th place finisher, Tanner Sharp, in the number 3 Mountain Dew car. And Tanner, tonight you led. Didn't actually lead any laps, but you're up front for most of the night. And we're pushing and shoving, and you were about a lap away from potentially having a shot at the win. And everything went awry those last couple 100 feet. Just walk us through that last lap and getting a push that didn't quite work out.
Oh yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I wasn't mad at whoever was pushing behind me. I actually wasn't even paying attention who was behind me. All I knew is that we were all lined up on the outside, and guys were lined up on the inside, and we're just gonna go for the win. And on that last caution lap, I told the teammates, I'm just gonna go for it here, whether we're lined up or not. So just trying to put yourself in a position to win the race, and circumstances dictate the outcome, and that's exactly what happened here tonight. But overall, it's honestly a solid points tonight, 11th place with all the drivers that showed up here tonight. So I'll take 11th place after having a really good run with not only my teammates, but everybody up running up towards the front and just playing it smart on my part to avoid some incidents there. Only cutting through the grass. I prefer to cut through the grass than wreck. So we had a good night in this Mountain Dew Chevrolet here tonight.
Tanner Sharp, 11th, had a shot at the win, but it all went away. But it's still a good points night for the number 3. Tanner, thanks for talking. We'll see you next week.
Yep, thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Going to move on now to the driver that finished 3rd tonight. It was Richard Hines. We got in the booth now in the 87. Richard, tonight kind of snuck up on us and kind of came out of nowhere, but you were leading coming back to the white, and things didn't quite work out, but just walk us through after that restart and charging to the front, trying to steal away a victory.
After that restart, it looked like everybody but me was damaged, and I thought I had a good chance, and they were pushing, and I just got a break to get up front, but then that charge at the last lap, I couldn't hold them off.
Talk to me about how this car drafts, because we've never actually witnessed this car race on a super speedway here on Sim TV. How much does this car draft in comparison to the Cup or Xfinity car? And is it difficult to manage runs, or is it a pretty good combination in terms of closure rate and car speed?
It drafts really well. When somebody tries to push it, it gets a little dicey. The car wants to turn. I thought a couple times there, Tanner, he was just trying to push me forward, and he got me sideways a couple times. But I'd say compared to the Cup, it's not quite as good as it is right now, but it drafts pretty good.
All right, Richard Hines, third place tonight, started 27th, so pretty deep in the field to start, but a top 5 result for Richard. Thanks for talking to us, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely. Going to move on now to Justin Kolb, who finished second place tonight and just missed out on the championship last season and just missed out on a checkered flag tonight, Justin. Really impressive night. You were up front all night long. You led 18 laps. When it came down to the checkered flag, you were 83 thousandths of a second short. Just walk us through the restart and trying to get in front of and hold off Gerald Campbell.
Yeah, I don't know if there was any holding off Gerald tonight. He had undoubtedly the fastest car, so fastest car won tonight. But that was really interesting. I had kind of forgotten just how fun these cars are on restricted plate tracks, and just the movement and momentum. This was definitely a package where if you threw a block too late, you were wrecking everybody. And I don't know if we saw that at any point tonight or not, but I normally in these races try and hang out in the back, just tried to have some fun tonight. Run up front, and luckily the car was good and got doored at one point, got almost turned once, and then almost turned again, and then proceeded to wreck my quote-unquote teammate. So I feel bad about that, but I think we both made it up in the end. So a very interesting night, and unfortunately, I guess we pick up where we left off. When was it? November? So, a good start to the season, but damn, I want to win one of these.
It's so close, yet so far for Justin Kolb. You're getting there, and we'll look forward to seeing you up there for the next race. So, Justin, thanks for talking to us. In a second place, still a really solid way to start the season. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Now, finally moving on to Gerald Campbell, who won tonight, starting on pole and held off a charging group of cars with only 4 laps to go. Gerald, tonight was a spectacular race for you. You led 33 laps en route to your first victory in the 3-Wide Racing League. What a night for you. Talk to us about what this means to you to win at Daytona and what it means to win after such a crazy, chaotic finish.
That was a crazy race. I think I shouldn't be here after 2 of those wrecks I was almost involved in. It was exciting. I don't know if it was as wild as it felt in the car as it was watching from the stands and everything. But boy, it just this drafting in these cars, you could put it anywhere you wanted. And on that last lap, I saw them coming, and I was like, how many times you replay all those wrecks in your head of the Cup guys where they throw a block and on the last lap and they get turned, and I'm like, I got to time it perfect if I'm going to do it right. And by far, I don't think I could have done that block at the perfect time again. It was just enough to where it got me the momentum going forward rather than pointing in the wrong direction. So just a fun night. Really had a blast out here.
Obviously, this is pretty early to ask you this question, but you look so strong tonight, and I can only imagine this strength is going to continue to the next races in the season. How confident are you that you'll be a championship contender in this series, and how do you think these cars are going to race at the smaller tracks on the schedule?
Oh, I don't look at that. I look at each race coming up. So, I looked at Daytona. I want to win Daytona. I look at the next track. I want to win the next track. So, you go out there and you run your races. You're going to get what you get. There's no... there's no trying to, strategically try to figure out how you're going to do it. You're just going to have to go out and do it. So, am I a championship contender? I don't know. I had fun tonight. I'm going to go have fun the next night and, and enjoy the win here and see if I can get some more of them if I'm lucky enough. So, and good enough. So, I'm going to have fun with it and appreciate you guys getting this hosted up and everything. And I can't wait to rewatch this because that was probably one of the most exciting Daytona races I've been a part of.
Well, Gerald, you won the very exciting one. We wish you luck in the rest of the season, but a really, really strong run tonight. Congratulations. Enjoy it, celebrate. We'll see you back next week.
Alrighty, and just so you know, I have VFW on the hood. It's Veterans of Foreign Wars. That's for all the vets out there. It's just an organization that really supports their vets just as I do. So if anyone's out there, support your vet. Just thank them for their service. Thank the elite group for letting me get on with them with their Pontiac group, and Goodman for giving me a paint job literally this afternoon that this camouflage car was able to sneak past all those wrecks and go out for a victory. Can't wait to do it again. Thank you.
All right, Gerald, have a great night. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Well, Finney, that's going to do it for us here. The Grand National Division for the Thru Ride Racing League. Well, we expected it to put on a show, and it certainly did. And I think I've been super impressed with how this car races. But we've got a lot more coming up on the schedule this season, and this is only race one of many, so still some good stuff to come.
Yeah, next round for this season will be not next week, but 2 weeks from now at Auto Club.
That's going to be a fun race, too. Auto Club Speedway, a little bit smaller, a little bit more, or a little bit less banking, but it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Thank you so much for watching tonight. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you have not already. And join us on Wednesday night for the Washington, D.C. Region SCCA iRacing League from Mid-Ohio. It'll be the first time you'll see the Cayman GT4, the new damage model, on those cars with the TCR on Wednesday night. So join us then at 8:30 p.m. for that. And then Saturday, outside of Racing League action, they're going to Bristol, the Concrete Coliseum. Thank you so much. We'll see you in a couple weeks.